John Newton was born in London in 1727. His godly mother tragically died when he was just 6 years old, and Newton was sent to a boarding school. At age 11, he shipped off to sea with his father, a shipmaster. The impact of sailors and their way of life had a destructive influence on young Newton. He would struggle in a spiritual battle for years to come. Pressed into service with the British Navy, he deserted his post. He was eventually captured, stripped, and intensely flogged. More journeys, dangers, toils, and snares followed. He became involved in the Atlantic slave trade, and for an awful period, he fell into slavery himself, the servant of an abusive woman in West Africa. During one of his voyages, his ship was caught in a severe storm. In great peril, he cried out to the Lord for help, and God miraculously saved Newton and his fellow shipmates from death. This moment in John's life was a turning point that began a slow transformation toward God's call in his life. John eventually became one of the most powerful evangelical preachers in British history, a powerful foe of slavery, and the author of hundreds of hymns. Newton's most beloved hymn, Amazing Grace, was connected to a New Year's Day sermon that he preached in Olney on January 1st, 1773. From his text, 1 Chronicles 17, verses 16 and 17, Newton exhorted his congregation to look back at God's goodness, look around at all God's promises for today, and look forward to future usefulness. Interestingly, a few hours after his sermon, Newton wrote in his diary, "Hope I was able to speak with some liberty, but found my own heart sadly unaffected." Little did Newton realize that the new hymn he presented that day would be sung all around the world in countless different languages. It would minister to millions, and may be the most revered hymn of all time. In the final days of his life, Newton said with great resolve, "Although my memory's fading, I remember two things very clearly. I am a great sinner, and Christ is a great Savior." For the last 250 years, this has been the truth of this timeless hymn. This is the message of our lives as well. The same God who brought us safe thus far is the same God who will safely lead us home by His amazing grace.